Today on our 2015 Ford F-150, we will be installing the TracRac SR sliding truck bed ladder rack with over-the-cab extension. This adjustable ladder rack system with over-the-cab extension allows you to carry extra long loads on your truck. It's perfect for ladders, lumber, PVC pipe, or any extra long loads that you may need to carry. The ladder rack sits on an easy-to-install base rail, which is configured to work with many different trucks. Your base rails simply sit in your vehicle's stake pockets and no drilling is required. Your ladder rack is adjustable by simply loosening the black knob and sliding it up and down your base rails. All three of our crossbars measure 69.5 inches long, while the height of our ladder rack is 25 3/8 inches. Our cantilever extends 32 inches over our cab. The whole system has a 1,250-pound weight capacity. Our adjustable load stops allow us to carry loads of various sizes. Simply undo the black knob and slide the stop down the track and tighten it back down. They also include a tie-down loop for securing your cargo. The legs of your rack also feature tie-down cleats, which will allow you to secure additional cargo. The elliptical shape of our crossbars helps with aerodynamics to reduce drag and wind noise. The whole ladder rack system is made out of a lightweight aluminum construction, so it's durable and corrosion resistant. Now that we've gone over some features, we're going to show you how to get this installed. First thing we need to do is take off our stake pocket caps on our F-150. To do that, we'll just take a flathead screwdriver and lift up on the cap and pull out. And we can go ahead and repeat this for our other three stake pockets. Now to get our base rails installed, our F-150 requires the shim, a rubber block, a bolt, a pocket nut, and a washer for each of our spots. Now to install the base rail, for our F-150, we know that we need to use the top hole and that it will be facing closest to the cab and closest to the bed. So to set it in, we just set it right on the edge. Now to get it attached, we'll grab our hardware. First is the bolt and the washer. And we'll go ahead and turn the base rail and we'll feed it through the top hole. Then we'll take our shim. We want to make sure that the thicker side is facing away from the bed. Next will be our rubber block. And finally our nut. And now we can repeat this for the other side of the rail. For this vehicle, we'll be using the last hole on the tailgate side. Now to make sure that our blocks are in the horizontal position and to get an extra set of hands to set this in place. With one rail in place, we'll go ahead and repeat that process on this side. Now with both rails loosely in place, we'll go ahead and take a measurement at the front and the back to make sure that they are even. We've got about 62.5 and 62.5. Now to check the plane of our base rails. You can use something flat like a 2x4, or we have a crossbar here. We'll set it down on the back. As you can see, our crossbar is not touching. That's where we'll use our shim. Now we'll go ahead and push it through, helping to even it up. Now we'll go ahead and do the same on this side. Now we can go ahead and tighten the rear down. We use our included tool in conjunction with our 5/16 socket wrench. What this is doing is pushing our rubber block out so that it wedges into our stake pocket. Now we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll check the plane here at the front. Now I found that I need to use a flat blade screwdriver to help push the shim. And now we'll tighten down the front. The same thing on the other side. Now the kit came with plugs for the holes we didn't use, so we'll go ahead and put those in place now. And we'll repeat the same step for our other holes. Now we've gone ahead and reconfirmed our measurements, we're going to go ahead and torque it down as specified in the instructions. Now we'll repeat this on the other 3 sides. With everything torqued down, we're going to go ahead and put on our remaining caps. Last thing to do is put on our safety bolts and then tighten them down. This tool is not included. And we'll do the same thing on the other 3 sides. Now we're ready for our ladder rack. We're going to be placing our ladder rack on the outer rail, so we need to remove the outer rear safety bolts. Now we'll go ahead and place our first half of the ladder rack on our rails. Now you may want to get an extra set of hands for some help. Since our ladder rack is loosely assembled, we can adjust it to fit the rails. With our first one installed, we'll go ahead and grab our second half and fit it onto the vehicle. Now we can replace our safety bolts. Now you may want to consider putting your back half of your rack on the inner rail, which will give you maximum adjustability for your ladder rack. Now with our bars loosely installed, we can go ahead and adjust them to get even bar overhang. We've got about 3.5 inches on this side, so we want to make sure the other side is the same. We've got about 3.5 on this side as well. We'll do the same thing that we did with our front to our rear bars. Now we can go ahead and tighten down our bolts. And now we'll repeat this on the other 3 sides. Now we'll go ahead and torque all of our bolts as per the instructions. Now we can go ahead and tighten down our knobs once we get our ladder rack in place. And that'll secure it so we can go ahead and load up our gear. With our ladder rack in place, we can go ahead and install our cantilever extension. So if we were just using our ladder rack, we would use these braces here, which are the normal braces, but instead we're going to use the cantilever brace. So the first thing we'll need to do is switch out our regular brace for our included cantilever brace. Now I've gone ahead and removed our crossbar. There are 2 bolts in here that we'll have to remove to replace our brace. And now we can do the same thing on the other side. So now we'll take our cantilever brace, we'll take the longer end and put it in towards the bed. And we'll take our new bolts and tighten it down. Now we'll go ahead and torque it down as specified in your instructions. Now we'll put our crossbar back in place and tighten it down. Now with our crossbar back in place, we'll go ahead and set our cantilever arms and just place them over the bracket so the holes line up. Now we'll go ahead and take our included hardware and tighten these down. And now we'll do the same thing on the other side. And now we'll torque down our bolts. Now we'll go ahead and set up our cantilever bar. We take one of the T-bolts on top, slide that through, and then the bottom we'll get 1 T-bolt and 1 regular bolt. With that done on both sides, we'll go ahead and get an extra set of hands to load up our bar. Now we'll take our T-bolt with the nut and the washer and slide it into place. And then we'll tighten it down. Now we just want to loosely tighten it down so we can check for even bar overhang. And now we'll do the same thing on the other side. We've got about 3 1/4 on this side. Let's go ahead and make sure the other side matches. We've only got about 2 inches on this side, so let's go ahead and even it out. Now with even bar overhang, we'll go ahead and tighten these down. Now we'll go ahead and take our corner brace and set it into place on here. We'll put a lock nut to hold our brace We'll take our other bolt, set it in place, and screw down the lock nut. And now we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now we'll torque all these down to specification. Now with our cantilever extension in place, we're ready to load up a ladder. First thing we need to do are make sure our load stops are out of the way. So we'll loosen those up and slide them all the way out. Now we can go ahead and grab our ladder and get it into place. We'll have somebody help me with this. Now we'll adjust our load stops to fit our ladder. The last thing we'll do is strap down our cargo. Now we do have a lot of straps available here at etrailer.com, so just pick a pair out. With our load secure, we're ready to hit the road. That will complete our install of the TracRac SR sliding truck bed ladder rack with over-the-cab extension on our 2015 Ford F-150.